Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway making some big moves in big pharma. Let's get to Leslie Picker with the details. Hi, Les.
Hey, Court, that's right. Warren Buffett's firm paring back its exposure to healthcare during the second quarter. This, according to its 13F filings. Berkshire Hathaway selling about half of its stake in Merck, nearly 9 million shares, making the position worth about $700 million as of June 30th. The firm also shrunk its AbbVie and Bristol Myers Squibb holdings, but they were still worth about $2.3 billion and $1.8 billion, respectively, at the end of the quarter. Berkshire closed a position in Biogen as well. The firm did maintain holdings in Johnson & Johnson and Teva, although those holdings, at least by Berkshire standards, were relatively small. Berkshire revealed earlier this month that it had been net sellers of about $1 billion in equities during the quarter after unloading nearly $4 billion during Q1. In that vein, Berkshire also sold about 20% of its stake in Marsh & McLennan, which had been a new stake last quarter, and the firm sold about 10% of GM during Q2. To be sure, there were a few additions. The firm boosted its stake in Kroger by 21% to hold more than $2 billion worth at the end of the quarter, and it added a bit more to Aon and RH. Note these positions are all as of June 30th. They may have changed in the 6 weeks or so since then. Court.
Thanks very much, Leslie. I know it takes some time to go through all of those numbers. Guy, you flagged some big moves in big cap pharma before we got this move, actually. So what's your take here on what Leslie summed up for us with Berkshire's holdings?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, listen, I think, the Berkshire 13Fs are a lot different now than it might have been 5 or 10 years ago. I mean, they've obviously had some missteps, but you have to obviously take it into consideration. What I will say is, we've been pretty steadfast on a number of names. I mean, Pfizer finally making all-time highs, getting through that 43.5, 44, huge double top. Eli Lilly continues to grind higher. I think that continues to be the best in breed. And I'll tell you that Biogen, that moved down to 325. I think the worst in terms of headline risk, in my opinion, is over for that name. So those are the three places I would continue to be.
Okay. Karen, what do you make of some of these moves? And Leslie pointed out, of course, these are always a bit dated because it's as of June 30th, so the positions could have changed, but certainly we pay attention to what Berkshire does.
We do, because they don't change. For them, they're pretty steady investors. They don't change that much, but I agree it used to have more impact than it does now. I like the big cap pharma space. So Lilly, AbbVie, Bristol Myers, Merck, one other I'm not thinking of at the moment, Pfizer. And I think it's sort of been a nice place to hide in the storm of whether we're in growth or whether we're in, Delta variant or I don't know. I feel like there's still upside there. The valuations are cheap. The dividends are nice, which I don't buy anything for dividends, but I like the space. I want to continue to hold on to it. I think that one thing that we did see last year was people not going to the doctor, right? There was during the pandemic, they didn't go. Now, hopefully they'll continue to go. And that's been a big push for these companies. I like them.